We wanted to make a video today just saying thank you to Calvary. All this COVID stuff has been very difficult, and a lot of changes have had to happen at church. But one of the things that is remarkable about this church family are the gracious spirits that are willing to go along, that are willing to take on some difficulty for the sake of being able to still come together as a family. And you have done a wonderful job of that. But one of the things that has happened is as time has gone on and we've learned more about the virus, we've learned some things that we were doing that aren't as necessary. And so we want to make this video to tell you a little bit about some changes going forward as we do both inside and outside worship. While it is getting colder and we are not likely to have very many outdoor Sundays left, one change is going to be that we are not going to need to wear masks outdoors any longer. We are still going to ask you to social distance, but studies are showing that you are as much as 20 times less likely to catch the virus outdoors as indoors. And because of that, we feel confident in being able to have worship services outside maskless. So we feel that it's safe to be outside as long as we are socially distanced. So that means going forward, when we have church service outside or events outside, we're not going to be asking you to wear a mask, but we are still going to be asking you to socially distance. Another change that you will see is that before we had only these doors unlocked for church service. But now we are going to be unlocking all the building's doors that we had unlocked beforehand. What that means is that if you are accustomed to coming into our worship service from the other side of the building, those doors will be unlocked for you to come in. The first thing you will notice when you come inside is that we are no longer doing temperature taking. Now the reason for that is because most people who have COVID and spread it to others are pre-symptomatic, meaning they have the virus but they are not yet showing symptoms. The thing about temperature taking is it will not help us to catch those instances. And so, because it's a very small pool of people who are already sick that are spreading the virus, we don't consider it a really helpful mechanism any longer. That if you are not feeling well, please stay home on Sunday morning. If you've been sick in the last week, please stay home on Sunday morning. If you're at all unsure, it's a good idea to take your temperature at home or just to plan to stay home on Sunday morning. When you come inside, we're going to ask that you use hand sanitizer right away. That's the same as it was before because we still want to be careful about the germs that we spread. Also, we may have greeters inside handing out bulletins. If so, of course, we will make sure that their hands are clean and they are wearing masks at all times. Also, if we do not have greeters because our volunteer pool we know is going to be a little smaller than usual, you may find that the bulletins are just upstairs in the pews already like they have been recently. We are still requiring you to wear a mask when you come inside for service. And this will be from the time you come inside the building all the way through the service itself. And the reason for that is because as we've learned more about the spread of coronavirus, more and more it's confirmed that the masks are very helpful in preventing the spread of the virus. Another change that you'll notice is that there are no longer closed signs around the church. Instead, all areas are open and you are welcome. The big changes that this is going to affect are bathrooms are no longer restricted just to the ones downstairs in the new part of the building. And if you are going upstairs and you need to go through the hallway, all of that is going to be okay now. We're not closing down different parts of the building. One of the reasons for that is because we've discovered that COVID does not stay in an area for longer than a few days. And so we do not need to worry about week-to-week issues with COVID transmission. Also, if you do happen to find closed signs somewhere that we have forgotten to take down, you are welcome to take them down yourself. The one exception to this is on the water fountains. The water fountains are still closed. Now, while all rooms in the church are open, and that does include the nursery, we do not have a nursery ministry at this time. We are hoping to resume our nursery ministry by next spring, but at this point we are not yet ready to do so. However, since the room is open, if you need to come downstairs and use the nursery, you are welcome to. Now, we do want to let you know that we are still delighted to have the little ones in service with us, but again, if you need access to the room, it is available to you. Now, some of the changes that we are going to be making that are going to last forever are the live stream. Many people have found that the live stream is a great way for them to be able to come to church without being able to come to church. And so from here on, we are planning to have our church services live streamed. You'll be able to find those videos on the church's YouTube account. Also, there will always be a link on the website. Another change that we are keeping for now is the no contact communion and offering. We don't really have a timeline for when we're going to change those things. But for now, it seems safest for us to be able to give offering on our way into or out of the sanctuary, so the offering plates will be at each entrance. And also for communion, to have a member from each household come up to take as many cups as they need. And those things will continue for the foreseeable future. You will notice that the closed for social distancing signs are still in some of the pews. As always, what those signs mean is that these pews are closed for social distancing. What that means is we want to ask you to continue not sitting in the pews that are closed for social distancing. The reason is because social distancing is one of the best ways to prevent the spread of COVID. Now, these practices are not forever. There will be a day where we'll be able to sit in all the pews again. But for now, for the purpose of safety, we are still going to continue social distancing with the seating. And that also, unfortunately, includes the greeting time. You all know that I am a hugger, and it's very hard for me to have our greeting times without physical contact. However, for the purposes of safety, we are still asking you to refrain from physical contact during the greeting time. Another change that we are making is we are going to resume having the Bibles and hymnals in the pews. And the reason for that is, again, because we know that COVID-19 does not stay on surfaces for more than a few days. So since our church services are a week apart, it'll be safe for us to have these in the pews again.
Hey, Calvary family. Thanks for watching this video about just the updated COVID precautions that we're taking at Calvary on Sunday mornings. I wanted to say a few things about them here at the end. I know that this has been a crazy time for all of us. A word that I feel like I've heard a million times, so much so it bothers me when I hear it, is unprecedented. But it is really a good word to describe what we're dealing with now. I don't think that any of us could have imagined in the first week of March that we would be in a place where most of us were wearing face masks on a regular basis, some of us all day, or that social distancing would be something that we would have to enforce. I imagine none of us could imagine a church service without shaking hands or hugging some of these people that we know and love so dearly. And yet here we are. I think that I want to say, I said earlier and I want to say again, that I'm just so grateful for the gracious spirit with which you've dealt with these changes and the discomfort that we've asked you to go through. So thank you. Now, as for our changes on some of these things, we've all known that these restrictions can't last forever. The way that life was during the quarantine, the way that life has been with all of the COVID restrictions can't be the way life is forever. It just will not work. And so we've always known that at some point these would have to go away. Well, now we know that all of them will go away, Lord willing, when the pandemic is over. But while the virus is still here, we have to figure out a way to live with it. And our precautions we're trying to keep in line with both the safety of Washington, with where our caseload is, and also with what we know about how the virus is transmitted. And so the changes that we've talked about in this video are mostly based, or entirely based, on changes to how we understand COVID is transmitted, and how some of the precautions we were taking may not help as much as we thought they would, and might be more restrictive than helpful. Now, some of you might feel like these changes are coming too soon. You might wonder if it's wise for us to be unmasked even at a social distance outside, or you might wonder about not taking temperatures inside the door. And even if you don't have a question about those things, the idea of them not being present might cause anxiety for you. But then at the same time, I know there are some of you who are watching this video that are thinking, these restrictions have been in place for far too long. We don't think they should have been there at all. What I want to ask all of us for is for some patience, some willingness to bear with us. Please trust that we are doing our research, and we are trying to make these decisions as best we can as we move through this. If you have any questions or concerns, I want you to know that I'm available and I would be very willing to hear from you about it. What I don't want you to do is to be frustrated or angry and silent, because that kind of quiet frustration can build and it can become toxic. It can become the kind of thing that causes distance between a person and the church that loves them and that they love as well. So please, if you are frustrated, let me know. If you are scared, let me know. If you are angry, let me know. I would love to hear from you. All right. Thank you so much. I want you to know that I love you and pray for you all. Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Wanted to let you know we were just going to make a little bit of a video today to let you know about a few of the changes that are happening at Calvary. So come on, let's take a look. Oh, hey! We wanted to make a video today.
Nope. Sorry, we've got wind.
Dang it!
So I'm going to turn the microphone down and you're just going to have to shout pleasantly.
Blah. We are still going to be asking you to wear a... And if I could talk, well, why? Their purpose, of course, is always, if you're not able to bring your own Bible, if you want to sing along with the notes of the hymnal, or if you need something really hard to throw at a snarky associate pastor who claims that you're incapable of public speaking even while preaching a sermon.